To be an underdog is nothing new for us. Our team is built of people that have been underdogs their entire lives.
But all year, you know, we knew what type of team we had, but we had to go prove it every week.
Let me see the dog mask. Dog mask right here, baby. Dog mask right here.
For us, it just puts a bigger chip on our shoulder. You know, for this team, it just make us so much angry and it brings us so much closer.
Hey, respect is all you got in this league, man. Don't nobody respect him, but guess what? They can't go home until he's done with him.
You know, we always trying to do the impossible.
And it makes us want to go out and to show the world that we're not underdogs.
It wasn't supposed to be this way. To hear some tell it, the Eagles' postseason lifespan went the way of Carson Wentz. Instead, there's another hero in town who has his team one win away from his unlikely Super Bowl title. Here's Sal Paolantonio on Nick Foles' wild ride.
He was sandwiched and took a big shot. They've got to check him out.
Torn ACL, it appears, yes.
Guy you work with every day, you think the world of. My job right now is to step in that huddle and keep this thing rolling.
It's a flea flicker. He's going deep. Caught! Touchdown!
It's about to get turned up in here.
When you think of Nick Foles' improbable ride to the Super Bowl, missing preseason with a sore elbow, riding shotgun to MVP candidate Carson Wentz, finishing the season as Wentz's much maligned replacement, consider this. 2 years ago, after the Rams drafted Jared Goff to replace him, Foles almost called it quits.
I had to take a step back and say, you know, am I doing this for the right reason? Because if I can't do it with my heart, I can't do it. And I've always said that. You know, I'm not going to do something unless my heart's in it. When you have your heart in something, you give it everything you have.
Foles fires, and it is caught! Touchdown! Looking, firing, wide open, touchdown!
Back-to-back playoff games in the rarefied air of completing 78% of his passes, Foles has given the Eagles everything they could ask for, plus some. How does Nick go from the maligned guy against Oakland and Dallas to completing 78% of his passes in 2 playoff games?
Just confidence, I think. You know, Nick never had a training camp. He was hurt pretty much the entire training camp. So that bye week that we had was not like any bye week I've ever been around. It was extremely intense practices, and guys were going at it. So Nick was able to develop those game reps in a practice setting.
The guys believe in him. Listen, he's not a rookie. He's a veteran player who's played a lot of games in this league. He started a lot of games. He had a Pro Bowl year just a couple years ago. So he's everything we knew he was.
For the first time in 13 years, the Eagles are headed for the Super Bowl.
He proved to be the perfect backup for the phenom Wentz, and now the roles are reversed.
To me, one of the greatest things about a person that you can say is when you see him celebrating somebody else's success, even when you know it's at the same position. I don't care. Human nature tells you that's hard to do. And it's been fun to see those two do that. It's fun to see Carson have the maturity to truly celebrate Nick's success and understanding how he's helping this team.
But now everybody on the team, players and coaches, realize this moment belongs to Nick Foles.
You know, it's a big moment. You know, Super Bowl, something you dream about as a kid. You know, this is a big stage. There's a lot going on. This room just keeps increasing with cameras and people in it, and it's just going to keep going. But I think when you just focus on the little things and what's important is our, you know, our preparation, what we do as a team, and then going out there and playing together Super Bowl night.
In our Tostitos Bring the Party moment, the Eagles have landed. Philadelphia opted to head west yesterday. They touched down in Minnesota mid-afternoon. And there is plenty in store for this team as they make their way towards Sunday in Super Bowl 52. For a look at that week ahead, here's our Sal Paolantonio.
Hey, Wendy, we're in the Eagles team hotel. The team just returned from the University of Minnesota for about a 1-hour workout. This afternoon, they'll get to relax before opening night at the XL Center tonight. Tomorrow, just some meetings. On Wednesday begins the normal practice week at the University of Minnesota. Practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, US Bank Stadium on Saturday for a walkthrough and a team picture. I texted Doug Peterson this morning because I wanted to know his message to the team as they embark on Super Bowl week. And here's what he told me. I'm going to relay to them again about mental clutter. We have to keep it to a minimum this week. Coaches and players, stay in the moment, but enjoy it. Commit for one more week to each other. Wendy?
Sal, just 1 week to go. Regardless, thank you. The Patriots land in Minneapolis today. They, of course, are comfortable with all that Super Bowl week brings. The Pats have a whopping 35 active players previously on a Super Bowl roster, 32 that have played in the game. Compare that to the Eagles, who have just 6 active players who have played in and won a Super Bowl. With more on New England, here's Josina Anderson.
Well, Wendy, as the Patriots travel here to Minnesota today, one thing that they're focused on is the play of Eagles quarterback Nick Foles. Patriots defensive end Trey Flowers telling me as he went over his film study, what really stood out was how confident Foles was playing in that NFC Championship game and how he seemed to grow more comfortable behind that Eagles stout offensive line as the game went on, which makes sense since his QBR in the 4 starts before that was 32 and last Sunday it was 97. Flowers also telling me that Foles seems to be at his best when he's operating the Eagles run option plays and how impressed he was with not only Foles' ability to create, but also his ability to diagnose the defense post-snap, whether in his decisions to hand it off, fake it, or somehow do a pass play. Matter of fact, Foles went 4 for 6 for 127 yards on 20-plus pass yard plays, and he was 0 for 10 on such plays before that since Carson Wentz went down. Flowers telling me, so the keys for this Patriots defense against the Eagles RPOs is this: not just to stay patient, but also to be stout in reading their keys along the Eagles offensive line, whether it's with their tackle or with their tight end, that can help indicate to them which plays that the Eagles offense is running. Wendy, back to you.
Josina, thank you. Overreaction Monday continues. The experience of managing Super Bowl week is the most important thing. And what I mean by this is that perhaps is more of a challenge than actually game management, Damian, because look at that. That is anything but a normal week. And for the Patriots, it's something they're accustomed to, and for the Eagles, not the case at all. Is that an overreaction? I think it's an overreaction. Doug Peterson is a former player. He kind of understands the magnitude of what these guys are walking into. And listen, he's the type of coach that he's going to let his guys be who they are, you know, and that's what's gotten you to this point. But also just follow the layout of the week. Now we're into game week, so you're pretty much going to follow that schedule outside of some media obligations. So I think it's overblown.
I think it's an overreaction as well, because the game is what we wait for, and this is a long week coming up right here for players. I mean, the Eagles touchdown on Sunday. There's a lot of time between when they touched down yesterday and when they play next Sunday evening around 6:40. But what's going to feel even longer is the day of emotions itself. That game, and it's not just the time leading up to kickoff, but halftime. 3 times the length of a normal NFL halftime. That may seem inconsequential, but bodies are accustomed to shutting down and resuming activity in 12-minute bursts. That's what it is during a normal halftime. I think the day of the game itself and the emotions and the in-game management that coaches and players are required to undertake during the Super Bowl itself, that trumps this week ahead, even if it is a long, unusual week. Yeah, I've had so many players say the week is one thing. It goes relatively fast because you're getting ready, but come Sunday morning, it just stops. That clock stops. The day of the game is so emotionally draining, literally. And you hit it on the head, Field. Halftime. Yeah. Halftime. It's like 3 times. What are we doing? Let's go. I understand all the entertainment, but I mean, Coach Belichick used to always say, guys, hydrate, relax. We're going to be here for a while. We're going to be here. Yeah, you are quite not your normal 12 minutes. No, not even close. And sometimes things change dramatically at halftime, like, I don't know, last year's Super Bowl. Yep. Yeah, sometimes there's a change. The Eagles, by the way, trying to win a championship for the first time since 1960. Has not been so long for the Patriots. That situation's a little bit different. Still to come on NFL Live. I mean, just put this on a loop. I could watch it all day. We'll go back to the Pro Bowl. They're just kind of really out here goofing off, Drew. Is that okay? That's fine, right?
That's pretty much the way it is all the time, and he's about to get in big trouble for getting on the field. So here we go.
Bring the Party is brought to you by Tostitos. Get a Super Bowl ad for your Super Bowl party